Redditors who have done something intending to sacrifice their lives and actually survived. What was it like, and what were you thinking in that moment? I was finished high school, still living at home, sleeping in on a Saturday. My sister, who had been given explicit instructions to let me sleep until I got up on my own, poked her head in my room, yelled something, and ran out. Pissed off and only half awake, I just rolled over and fell asleep. A few minutes later she ran back in, yelled something, and ran out. I moaned and groaned, 3/4 of the way to the land of the living, but didn't get up. No force on earth was going to get me out of. Jesus Christ, my name, the house is on fire. Well shit, I'm up now. I ran out of the bedroom to the sight of thick black smoke curling up out of the floor registers. The living room was filling up fast and I could hardly see. The source of the fire was obviously the basement, but I only registered that in a sort of tangential way. Priority 1 was getting the hell out of the house. I ran into the kitchen, headed for the back door, and met the rest of the family there. Everybody except my youngest brother. Where's little bro? I asked in the middle of essentially shoving my way out of the house. He went downstairs, my mother said. There was no conscious decision. There was no moment where I decided to go get him. I just did. I pushed my way back in and ran for the stairs. I was operating solely by touch and by memory at this point. I opened the basement door and almost instantly lost the ability to breathe. Now remember, at this point I had only been awake for about a minute and a half. I wasn't thinking yet. I gulped down whatever little oxygen was left and dove into a smoke so thick I could have mistaken it for a solid. Right away I could see the orange glow of the fire. Now, our hot water tank had a leak, and my dad's attempt to fix it had included a bucket and little else. I grabbed the bucket as I ran past, readied it, and heaved the whole damn thing at the fire. There was a clang, and a thunk, and the fire disappeared. It had been inside the dryer, and I had just thrown the pail into the dryer itself. Immediately I felt someone grab my arm and start pulling me back to the door. Lightheaded and needing to retreat for air, I allowed myself to be pulled. Once we could see again, I realized that my younger brother had been the one pulling me out. He told me that he had the same idea I had, using the pail to put out the fire, and had gone down just moments before I had. He told the story to humorous effect of how I had stumbled in my underwear and thrown a pail at the fire. For years my family told this story as a funny anecdote, with me as the butt of the joke, of how the fire wasn't really that dangerous and how I had thought myself a hero, of how funny I was stumbling around in a half-woken stupor. One day I pointed out to them that, frankly, I thought it was more impressive that while half awake and believing my life in imminent danger, my first thought had been for the safety of my family, and how it reflected very poorly on them that they thought it was so damn funny. They stopped telling the story after that.